You may have been checking your health the wrong way for years without even realizing it, because diabetes does not begin when you finally see numbers on a lab report. It often starts much earlier with small signs your body has been showing you every single day right beneath your feet. The problem is, most people never recognize them. My name is Dr. Javier Morales, and for over 2 decades I have worked with patients who believed they were perfectly fine, until one routine visit changed everything. Not long ago, I met a 67-year-old man who came in for a regular checkup. He felt healthy. He stayed active. He had no major complaints. But when I asked him a simple question about his feet, everything shifted. He told me they had been feeling slightly numb for a while. Nothing serious, he said, just part of getting older. But as we talked more, I realized he was experiencing multiple warning signs that had been quietly building over time. When his test results came back, his blood sugar was dangerously high. He had been living with diabetes for years without knowing it. And that is exactly why I am making this video for you today, because what I see again and again is not a lack of care. People do care about their health. What they are missing is the information to recognize the early signals their body is already giving them. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 warning signs that often appear in your feet long before a diagnosis is made. For each one, I will explain what most people assume it is what is actually happening inside your body, and one simple habit you can start today to protect yourself. And I want you to pay close attention, because some of these signs may already be there. Let's start with the first one. The first sign I want you to pay attention to is something that most people never take seriously. Cold feet, even when the temperature around you does not justify it. I often hear patients say, "My feet are always cold, that is just how I have always been." And yes, some people naturally feel colder than others, but there is a difference between feeling cold occasionally and having feet that stay cold even in warm weather, even under blankets, even when the rest of your body feels comfortable. When that happens, it is often a sign that blood is not circulating properly to your lower extremities. Think of your circulatory system like a heating system in your home. Warm air is supposed to travel through every room evenly, but if the pipes become narrow or blocked the rooms farthest away, stop receiving heat. Your feet are the farthest point from your heart. So when circulation begins to weaken, they are usually the first place where the problem shows up. And over time, consistently, high blood sugar can damage your blood vessels, making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach those areas. A simple habit you can start today is daily movement. Even a short walk of 20 to 30 minutes helps push blood down into your legs and feet. If that feels like too much, start with 10 minutes. The key is consistency. Now the second sign is one that almost everyone has experienced, but very few people question when it happens repeatedly. Tingling or numbness in your feet. Most people explain it away immediately. They say, "I must have been sitting too long," or "my foot just fell asleep." And occasionally that is completely normal. But when that tingling starts happening often without a clear reason, it is something you should not ignore, because what you may be feeling is early nerve damage. Inside your body, excess sugar in your bloodstream begins to affect the outer layer of your nerves. I often explain this using a simple comparison. Imagine your nerves as electrical wires, each one wrapped in a protective coating. That coating allows signals to travel clearly from your brain to your feet. When blood sugar stays elevated for too long, it slowly wears down that protective layer. The signals do not stop completely, but they become distorted, and that distortion is what you feel as tingling numbness or that pins and needles sensation. To protect your nerves, focus on 2 simple habits. First, begin reducing added sugar in your daily diet. Even small changes make a difference over time. Second, keep your body moving. Gentle, regular activity helps maintain healthy blood flow and supports nerve function. If either of these signs feels familiar to you, do not brush it off. Your body may already be trying to tell you something important. Now the third sign is where things begin to shift from something mild to something that can become genuinely dangerous if ignored. A small wound on your foot that takes much longer than expected to heal. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard a patient say it is just a small cut or it will close on its own, and in many cases that is true. The body is designed to heal itself, but when blood sugar remains elevated over time, that healing process slows down significantly. Your blood is responsible for delivering everything your body needs to repair damage. Oxygen, nutrients, and immune cells all travel through your bloodstream to reach the wound. But when blood vessels become damaged and narrowed, that delivery system no longer works efficiently. Think of it like trying to water a garden with a hose that is bent in the middle. The water is there, but it cannot reach the plants properly. In the same way, your body has the tools to heal, but they are not getting to where they are needed. As a result, even a small blister or cut can remain open for days or even weeks. And when a wound stays open, it creates an opportunity for infection to develop. This is why I always recommend a simple daily habit. Take a moment each evening to check your feet carefully. Look at the heels, the soles, and between your toes. If you notice any break in the skin, clean it gently and keep it protected. And if it does not begin to improve within a couple of days, do not wait. Seek medical advice early. Now, the fourth sign is something you can actually see with your own eyes, but most people never connect it to their blood sugar. Changes in the color of the skin on your feet or around your ankles. Some patients notice their skin becoming darker, slightly red, or even taking on a bluish tone, and they often assume it is due to aging sun exposure or natural skin variation. But in many cases, it is a sign that your feet are not receiving enough oxygen-rich blood. Remember, your feet are at the very end of your body's circulation system. When blood vessels begin to narrow, those distant areas are the first to suffer. I like to explain it this way. Imagine your bloodstream as a delivery service, constantly bringing oxygen and nutrients to every part of your body. If the roads become narrow or blocked, deliveries start arriving late or not at all. And when your skin does not receive what it needs, it begins to change in appearance. You might also notice the skin becoming thinner or more fragile in those areas. These are subtle signals, but they matter. A helpful habit here is to keep your blood moving throughout the day. Gentle ankle rotations, calf stretches, or even elevating your feet slightly while sitting can support better circulation. If you start noticing these visual changes, do not ignore them. Your body may be showing you a problem that is still early enough to address. The fifth sign is one that many people find especially uncomfortable because it often shows up at the worst possible time. A burning sensation in your feet, particularly at night. Patients often describe it in very specific ways. They say it feels like their feet are on fire, or like heat is radiating from the soles when they are trying to sleep. And because it happens at the end of the day, many assume it is simply fatigue or the result of being on their feet too long. But when this sensation becomes frequent, especially when there is no clear cause, it can be a sign that your nerves are no longer sending signals correctly. When blood sugar remains elevated over time, it can damage the nerves in your feet. And instead of going quiet, those damaged nerves sometimes begin sending incorrect signals to your brain. I often compare this to a fire alarm with a faulty sensor. There is no actual fire, but the alarm keeps going off because the system itself is damaged. In the same way your brain receives a signal that your feet are burning, even though there is no external heat source. This is your body asking for attention. 2 simple habits can make a meaningful difference here. First, make sure you are staying properly hydrated throughout the day. Water helps your body regulate and supports overall nerve health. Second, begin adding more fiber to your meals. Foods like vegetables, beans, and whole grains help slow the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream, which reduces stress on your nerves. Now, the 6th sign is one that looks completely harmless at first glance. Dry, cracked heels that do not seem to improve, no matter what you apply. Many people assume this is just a skin issue. They try different lotions, creams, or home remedies, expecting the problem to go away. And while dryness can certainly be common, persistent cracking that does not respond to treatment often has a deeper cause. Your body relies on a network of nerves to control automatic functions, including moisture regulation in your skin. When those nerves are affected, your skin loses its ability to stay properly hydrated from within. I like to describe your skin as a protective barrier, similar to a wall that needs to remain sealed. when that internal support weakens, small cracks begin to form. And over time, those cracks can deepen. These openings are not just cosmetic, they can become entry points for bacteria, especially when combined with reduced circulation. A simple habit you can begin today is moisturizing your feet consistently each night before bed. Focus on the soles and heels and allow the skin time to absorb that moisture. At the same time, make sure you are drinking enough water during the day because hydration from within is just as important. If you notice that your heels remain cracked despite your efforts, consider it a signal worth paying attention to, not something to ignore. Now, the seventh and final sign is one that often signals the condition has been developing quietly for a long time: swelling in your feet and around your ankles. At first, many people do not think much of it. They assume it is from standing too long, sitting too much, or simply part of aging. And occasionally, that can be true. But when the swelling becomes frequent, when your socks leave deep marks in your skin, or when your shoes suddenly feel tighter at the end of the day, it is time to pay closer attention. Because this type of swelling is often related to how your body is managing fluid. Your kidneys play a central role in filtering your blood and maintaining the right balance of fluids in your body. Over time, consistently high blood sugar can place stress on this system, making it less efficient. When that happens, excess fluid begins to collect in the lowest parts of your body, and because of gravity, that is usually your feet and ankles. Think of your kidneys as a filtration system that is constantly working to keep everything balanced. When that system starts to slow down, fluid builds up, and your body has nowhere else to store it. One simple habit that can help is elevating your feet when you rest. Even placing them slightly above heart level for a short period can encourage fluid to move back through your system. Reducing your intake of salty foods is also important because excess sodium can cause your body to retain more water. And if you notice that swelling is becoming more consistent or more severe, do not wait. It is always better to address the cause early. We have covered a lot today. 7 signs that may seem small on their own, but together they can reveal something much more serious happening inside your body. And I want to share something with you, not just as a doctor, but from my personal experience after years of working with patients. In my opinion, the biggest problem is not that people do not care about their health. It is that they do not realize when their body is trying to warn them. I have seen too many people come in thinking everything was fine, only to discover that the signs had been there for months, sometimes even years. Not hidden, not complicated, just misunderstood. And that is why awareness matters more than anything else. Now, I also want to be very clear with you. This video is not meant to diagnose any medical condition, and it should never replace professional medical advice. Every person is different. These signs can be caused by a variety of conditions, not just blood sugar issues. But if you recognize even 1 or 2 of these patterns in your own body, take it as a signal to pay closer attention, not something to ignore, and not something to fear. Tonight, take just 30 seconds. Sit down and look at your feet. Notice the skin. Notice how they feel. Check for anything unusual, even if it seems minor, and if something does not feel right, speak with your doctor and get it checked properly. Because the earlier you act, the more control you have over your health. You have worked hard for your life, your independence, and your well-being. Protecting it does not always require something complicated. Sometimes it begins with simply noticing what your body is already telling you. If you found this helpful, share it with someone you care about, because the right information at the right time can truly make a difference. Take care of yourself, and do not forget to take care of your feet.